Welcome to this explainer. So, have you ever noticed that even when everything around you is completely silent, your mind just isn't? You're sitting in a perfectly quiet room, but inside your head, there's this loud, totally chaotic symphony of thoughts going on.
Which brings us to part 1, the exhausting, noisy mind.
We all know exactly what this feels like, right? You're lying in bed, the lights are out, and you are so ready to sleep. But suddenly, your brain just activates. It turns into a late-night talk show host. Out of nowhere, it reminds you of something super embarrassing that happened, like 5 years ago, and then it immediately pivots the planning out tomorrow's schedule. Next thing you know, you're mapping out conversations that literally haven't even happened yet. It is just exhausting.
So, the crucial point is, why does the mind never stop talking? Well, the answer is actually surprisingly simple, and it completely reframes how we look at our own heads.
Let's dive into part 2, an ancient survival system.
The truth is, your mind was never actually designed to be quiet. It's operating on hardware built thousands of years ago. Back then, your ancestors survived because their brains constantly searched for danger. Every rustle in the forest could have been a literal life-or-death threat. And this brilliantly illustrates our modern problem, because that exact same survival system still exists inside your skull today. The only difference? Instead of scanning for wild animals, your mind uses all that immense energy to worry about deadlines, other people's opinions, money, and the future.
When you look at it this way, you kind of have to develop some genuine empathy for yourself. Your brain isn't actively trying to ruin your peace. It's not keeping you awake out of spite. It's really just doing the one job it knows how to do. It's trying to protect you. The major glitch in the system, though, is that this ancient brain simply cannot tell the difference between a real, physical danger standing right in front of you and an imagined danger projected in your mind.
And that's exactly why this protection mechanism backfires so often. It's why one tiny mistake can replay in your head for hours on end, or why one single negative comment completely outweighs 10 compliments. The mind just keeps talking and talking because it fundamentally believes that if it just keeps thinking, you're going to stay safer. Moving on to part 3, thoughts are just visitors.
Here is a massive truth that can literally set you free. Not every single thought flashing through your head actually deserves your attention. Imagine you're sitting on a grassy hill beside a busy road. Cars just keep passing by, one after another. You don't jump up and run after every single car, do you? No. You simply watch them come and you watch them go.
Well, your thoughts are absolutely no different. They're just visitors. If we apply this busy road metaphor to the noise in our heads, we can actually start sorting those thoughts into buckets. Some of them are genuinely helpful, some are completely meaningless, and some are simply echoes of old fears just trying to grab the steering wheel. Stripping the noise down into these 3 categories takes away its overwhelming power over you.
I really want this next point to sink in because it is absolutely profound. Peace doesn't come from stopping your thoughts. Peace comes from realizing that you don't have to follow every one of them. The very moment you stop believing that every thought is an urgent command, the noise finally begins to lose its power. Okay, let's look at how we can actually do this in part 4, the 1-minute practice.
Let's walk through an immediate, practical exercise you can try today. It takes literally just 1 minute. First, sit quietly and close your eyes. Second, notice every single thought that appears. Third, do not fight it, and definitely don't judge it. Don't even try to make it disappear. And fourth, just observe those thoughts passing by, like clouds drifting across the sky. You aren't trying to clear the sky, right? You're just watching the weather happen.
And that brings us to part 5, you are the sky.
When you do this practice, you'll discover something incredible. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. That one small perspective shift changes everything. Because a truly quiet mind isn't a completely empty mind. It's just a mind that no longer feels forced to chase every single idea. It's the difference between being swept away in a rushing river and sitting safely on the riverbank, just watching the water flow by.
So here is a simple, actionable toolkit for you. The very next time you're lying in bed or sitting at your desk and your internal monologue flat out refuses to shut down, use these steps. First, don't argue with the mind, because that just creates more noise. Second, literally smile. It softens your physical tension. Third, take a slow, deep breath. And fourth, just let the thoughts pass, like cars on a highway.
I want to leave you with this beautiful final anchor. The sky has never been disturbed by the clouds that move through it. Neither should you be disturbed by the thoughts moving through your mind. You are the vast, open sky. The anxieties and those late-night future plans, they're just temporary clouds.
If this explainer helped you see your mind differently today, I invite you to keep exploring these concepts with us at Vision Vortex, where every idea is a step toward a calmer, wiser, and more meaningful life. So, as you go about the rest of your day, I'll leave you with this one final thought to ponder. What if the very next stressful thought that enters your mind isn't an emergency you have to solve, but just a passing cloud you can simply watch float away?